No, fuck you. If you are going to accuse somebody of something serious, then you goddamn well better have proof.
Hey, Keisha. I had to throw a little hey Keisha there just for good measure. Is my volume low? No, it's fine. All right. Hello. Woo, we made it. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. We're here. We can do it. It's been a hell of a week, has it not? Pinky Pink, thank you so much for gifting 5 Samantha Jean memberships. Pink Lion, Jasmine, Fancy May, Tired AF, and Opulent Designs. Welcome. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate your support of my channel. Shake them out of the tree. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, I closed my comments. Totally fine. Uh, that's not how I wanted it. Hold on, guys. Now I'm messed up. What did I do? Can I not pin? Why can't I pin that? That is so weird. Anyway, I messed it all up. That's fine. We need to get roll call anyway. Oh, hell no. Salada, Sasha, Keela, Fauntleroy, Pinky Pink, Mandy H, Agony Jones. Oh, hell no. Hello, Liz, Sasha. Nice to see you, Wendy, Pink Lion, Jasmine, Fancy May, Tired AF, Opulent Designs, Christy, Autumn. Hello, Lily Pad, Layla, Ashley, Catacorn, Indigo. AK is present and accounted for. AK, girl. If you guys were not here for yesterday's stream, yesterday it was announced that Hussy and Snifford have been served discovery in the case they brought against AK. And boy, I bet they woke up this morning, the both of them, wishing they had not done that. Kimberlina, thank you so much for joining memberships, girl. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting my channel. Oh, God, they weren't in my chat. Hey, Borking, trying to get caught up from your Disney World, your trip to Disney World. Fun. I'm jealous. I don't care. I love it. Hello. Welcome back, Borking. Wendy from Dr. Phil is present and accounted for. Nice to see you, Wendy from Dr. Phil. Wendy from Dr. Phil, I was thinking about you this morning because I spied, I'm just going to say it. I don't give a fuck. I spied somebody from the OGDC over there in the Grift Gang about a week or so ago, shopping around a story about what supposedly me and Yaba did to their friend. And I have a sneaking suspicion I know exactly what that bullshit is about. So, Wendy from Dr. Phil, I'm going to need to make sure that you are keeping yourself on standby and available because you will definitely want to be weighing in on that one. Kimberly, thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. Shamrocks. Visiting with my, is it G granddaughter, great granddaughter, or just granddaughter? There's no way you have a great granddaughter. Visiting with your granddaughter, but listening in Virginia. Kimberly, enjoy your visit. That is so sweet. I'm so excited for you. Hey, Job Cheese. Thank you so much for the super chat, girl. Long nips in the chat. Job Cheese and long nips. I don't know if you guys seen in the support group this morning when there was conversation about long nipples. Somebody said, was it you, Hijab Cheese? I don't think it was. I think it was somebody else who said that long nipples are not genetic. That anyway, whatever. It was funny. There was a lot of talk. I was like, I cannot believe that Yaba's going in so hard on the long nipple community after the heat and the fire. She took over the damn seatbelt extender. I was listening. I was like, babe, you're gonna offend like, you know, 14% of women making fun of the long nipples. Jordy, City of Thieves, thank you so much for the super chat and the support. I appreciate you. Sasha said you got to stretch them out manually. All I said was, yeah, I think the person said that they're not genetic. They come from playing with them too much or something like that. And I said in the chat that I just had to say that my research did not support the that theory. So Ms. Monster says long nips need love too. That's a tongue twister. Hey, Hellfire. Nice to see you. You're not that late. Glad you're here. Illyria, Cindy, hello. Alex is here. I don't care. I love it. Nice to see you all. Sassy Mama. Street Carps here. Kimberly, Kimberlina. Emotional Support Muffin. Our Panda Perpetual Pondu. P Days here. Nice, nice. Lisa Simpson, Wendy from Dr. Phil. Yes, indeed. Okay, listen. It is going to be. Oh, Ling Webster wants the timestamp of the long nip shaming. It's towards the end, I believe, closer to the end. I'll have to see if I can find it. Right, Lily Pad? Listen, I said it in the chat. She didn't say it out loud, but we were talking about it last night. I was like, dude, these people don't realize, like, if we were to gunt our fat asses on a plane right now, we would likely need a seatbelt extender ourselves, and we would abso-fucking-lutely roast each other for it. We'd probably get kicked off the plane. Hey, Psyched for Life. Loved all the long-nippled ladies. It could be me any day now. Yeah, what made you go to the store to get chips? What kind of chips? Our Panda from Petrol Fondue. Was she talking about those honey butter lays? Guess what? Yes, the honey butter lays. That is, I think, like one of the newest flavors they have out. Well, I found them in the smaller size bag at the Walmart, and that was the first time I seen them. It was like a week ago. Don't you know they have them in the Dollar General now? They're sold out at your Walmart, Lisa Simpson. I found the regular size, not the party size, but the regular size, you'd buy for your family size bag at Dollar freaking General. Yes, we love the DG. Street Carp says explain that to TSA. Yeah. Hey, Honey West. Nice to see you. Okay, listen, guys, we got to get started because it's going to be a long one today. All right. The first thing I want to do, though, is play a clip. I talked about it's not really a clip. It's almost 10 minutes long. I talked about this yesterday, but I didn't play it because I had not watched it all the way through, and I still have not watched it all the way through, but that's okay. I've watched enough to know that we need to watch it together. And so this, I don't even know when this is from. I don't. I mean, obviously, Clara Hondra is in Washington, D.C. So, okay, I'm going to place this around probably 2021. It would have to be. Hey, Marissa's Life. Rissa says they have them at Publix. Okay, good to know. P-Day, I tried the honey butter lays. I like them. It couldn't figure out what it was. My son said they taste like scented candle. I can't eat another one. Yeah, well, and the first time Yaba tried them, she was like, they're good, but I don't really like a sweet chip. And they are a little on the sweet side. I think they're delicious. I really do. Jordy, City of Thieves. Thank you so much again for the super chat. I appreciate you. I think people are too sensitive. Life is meant for laughs. It's healthy. My fat ass will laugh at my fat ass ways all day. Yes, exactly. And we do too. I told you guys in the support group in the chat, I said, Yaba calls me her BM, and that don't stand for baby mama. It stands for big mama. $32 a bag on Amazon. Goodbye, Kyle. Check your DG. I'm telling you, you got a Dollar General around you? Of course you do. The background is so busy. I know it. Jordy's City of Thieves. Thank you so much for the super chat. The support. We appreciate you. Yeah, she calls me Big Mama. BM for short. Bowel movement. Get out of here. All right, shut up. Everybody shut up. We're gonna watch. I'm not even gonna comment on this. We're just gonna watch it. All right. All right. So it's titled Clara Frank talking about Ronald Corbin threats and defamation. Dun dun dun. Here we go.
I don't know if you guys saw this. Chantal and Negs, as you know, developed a friendship of sorts, or an alliance of convenience. Let's put it that way. And yeah, I'll say his name because he doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore. I really don't give a fuck. Because he is the person that he is, he decided that he was going to release the DMs that he had with Chantal. If only we had said to her, these are the warning signs, and these people are going to come back and they're going to fuck you over. Okay, so Negs has been on a sharing spree. And it's just saying we're not watching his channel. I'm not going to watch his channel. So.
Welcome to the shit show. I'm going to dig myself into a hole. And I got some stuff I want to get to tonight.
You get to
There's
stuff.
There's a lot to cover. Now, I accept my role in my temporary deletion.
Okay, hold on real quick. Ham hat, the tzatziki ones are delicious. I had them. They're like ranch with a little hint of cool cucumber. Delicious. Do it. Do it.
YouTube, okay?
Temporary.
It's my fault and no one else's.
Okay, it's not a temporary deletion. He's gone for good. He can go on making additional YouTube channels if he wants. They're all going to get taken down. This is not the
That aged well. Everything in the vault that we have cracked open has aged so well.
Only community
Amy May.
that he's messed with. He was on YouTube
Oh,
for
wait,
many
wait.
years, on making additional YouTube channels if he wants. They're all going to get taken down. This is not the only community that he's messed with. He was on YouTube for many years and he fucked with a lot of people and he went IRL on a lot of people. You can go ahead and claim that it was this community that brought you down. No, it was your own big fat mouth and your complete lack of judgment that brought you down.
I had no intention of deplatforming anyone other than French Fried Girl. I don't participate in cancel culture because I do not believe in it.
As far as not participating in cancel culture, I will say this. This individual, he decided what people are and are not allowed to talk about on their own YouTube channels. He lied and said that it was only his family that people are not allowed to talk about. And anybody who believed that was a sucker. And the reason I know that that's not
Hi, DG. Glad you could make it. I did turn the DVR off so you can tap back if you need to.
true is
Lisa Simpson says, Snifford, your time is coming later today, sweetheart.
I never discussed his
Something tells me Snifford's busy.
family and he came after me hardcore.
Oh, what was
I know
that?
that allowed to talk about. And anybody who believed that was a sucker. And the reason I know that that's not true is I never discussed his family and he came after me hardcore. And he sent his people after me. It has nothing to do with his family. It's an excuse that he uses. And quite frankly, he is the biggest snowflake on YouTube. He is the biggest censor on YouTube. His channel was one-man Stasi and North Korea. Honestly, if people want to talk about his family, they have every right to. I've said that I have never done so because I couldn't be less interested in the topic. He's a giant baby. He can't take criticism. If he decides that he doesn't like what you're saying, he will go for your family. He will go for your job. He will go for your safety. He will threaten to come to your home, out and out threatening people. Maybe someday I'll share some of the postings from his Discord about me. He shares people's doxes. Don't ever make the mistake of feeling sorry for this guy for anything. And I mean anything.
She had earned her right to not have a YouTube channel. And everybody can contest that to the end of time. I disagree.
That's not your decision, Negs. It's not your fucking decision. You don't work for YouTube. It's not up to you to decide who should and shouldn't have a YouTube channel. But I guess somebody did decide that you shouldn't have a YouTube channel, right?
Aha!
Right.
So that places this sometime after September of 2021, but before February of 2022, when they became a couple, right? That's right. Interesting. Linguipster, thank you so much for the super chat, darling. Girl, this is wild to watch. I know we've come to the conclusion that she's always been crazy, but wow, Clara. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Boy, that was harsh, Linguipster. I do share the sentiment. However, Fallen Angel 69_69. Wait, he tried to deplatform FFG. It went well. Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
YouTube went through your content. They decided that you were a menace and a danger and that your content broke terms of service.
Oh, wait, let's back it up. I just want to hear it again.
Right? Right. YouTube went through your content. They decided that you were a menace and a danger and that your content broke terms of service and you got yeeted off the platform. Oh, well.
I think part of me wanted to be off of YouTube in that capacity.
I feel like that was her swallowing down her GERD. Oh, well.
Oh, God.
I wanted to be like, look, man.
No, don't. You can't tell.
Oh, Alex, thank you so much for context. Alex says, at this time, DC was in a group chat with Callie, Shane, Charlie, Michael B. Petty, and I think someone else to talk about the Negs problem. Thank you for that, Alex Glitter.
Me that, oh, it's okay. I didn't want to be on the platform anyway. It wasn't good for me. Yeah, which is why you stayed on the platform for years. A laugh from the pit of hell.
When you're on YouTube, every time your email goes off, you think you're losing your channels. It's so stupid.
I'm on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for going on 8 years. Never, not once have I been concerned that my email is YouTube telling me that I have been permanently terminated and banned from their platform. I've never been banned from YouTube. I can't relate.
Because people just get deranged and start going on these mass flagging campaigns, get all in their fifis.
Oh, really?
You've seen it. Part of me feels very relieved.
You mean like going on a instead of mass flagging, like going on a mass abuse campaign and calling people's families, going through their Facebook friends list, contacting people's employers, contacting people's leasing offices, contacting businesses in the area where they live? He's out of his fucking mind. That is my unofficial diagnosis.
Again.
Gosh, that is a laundry list of things. Clara, tell us again all the things your now boyfriend is guilty of.
Instead of mass flagging, like going on a mass abuse campaign and calling people's families, going through their Facebook friends list, contacting people's employers, contacting people's leasing offices, contacting businesses in the area where they live. He's out of his fucking mind. That is my unofficial diagnosis.
Again, like with shit.
Did you guys know that Belinda and Clara and Ron and Gigi and Owl's friend, Aaliyah Alexander, aka Strawberry Douche, is over there doxing Yaba's family and encouraging people to contact Yaba's family? Elderly women. Those are the people that she's naming and linking. Elderly, disabled women. Shameful. Shameful behavior. Is that what we're doing now? Grift gang? All right.
Annie, I didn't listen.
You mean Shani, the person that you went to bat for, the person that you did PR for, the person that you were running around being a hitman for because she was paying you money? That's Shani? Yeah, we know.
Shani used to pay Ron to do dirty shit. Is that true? When Shani and Rev had all that money, how much was it? Like $500-something thousand.
Pepperidge Farm remembers, Negs. Don't DM him under any circumstances. There are certain people on this platform or certain people out there to whom you should never send a DM or share a confidence under any circumstances. And yeah, like Chantal, Negs, everything in your life is content. Everything. Defamation.
$750,000. Didn't even buy a fucking house.
Threats, going IRL, calling people's families, calling businesses, calling leasing offices, calling people's jobs.
Isn't this crazy? Because she's literally rattling off all the things that she now present day claims that myself and my wife and others are doing to them. Do you see how, Clara Handra, if you open a can of worms, you can't put the worms back in the can because the can's open, right? And things get very, very messy. Hey, why don't you ask your new friend, Snifford, if you can have a peek-see at the interrogatories that AK and her attorney slapped down on him. He's got 30 days to answer everything on those 13 pages. Anyway, please continue. Tell us everything that old Ronnie used to do.
Everything is content for you because you sit on your ass all day in your mother's house. You've said,
holy crap, P-Day. Wait, say it again. Say it again, Clara.
That's going IRL, calling people's families, calling businesses, calling leasing offices, calling people's jobs. Everything is content for you because you sit on your ass all day in your mother's house. You've said that you have nothing to lose, and that is a complete lie. You lost your YouTube channels.
If you don't want to risk me reading them one day, it's this simple. And it's not something I do to every fucking body.
Yeah, it's not something you do to everyone. Like you don't share everybody's nudes, Negs, right? Only when those people piss you off. let me repeat, there are people in this community or in the outskirts of the community or in the greater galaxy that you never, ever, ever want to DM. Don't send them anything personal. They're like Hannibal Lecter. You know, don't share anything with them because they will turn around and share it with the entire internet. Just know that.
I don't hate the
Dude, this again, don't forget. This is after Ron lost his YouTube channel. So it is after the end of September 2021. Was it September? Hell, it might have even been October that he lost his channel, but something's telling me it was like September 21st. So somewhere between September 2021 and February 2022, when Clara made public that she and Ron were a couple. How many months is that? September to October, October to November, November to December, 4 months. 4 months. In 4 months' time, Clara went from this opinion of Ron to they were in a relationship. Hey, Toots, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Just jumped in to say this hag has never looked worse and to celebrate 10 months. Miss y'all during my back to school and football season for the middle and Lil Toots. All right, enjoy that. Thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. I appreciate your support. In 4 months' time, Clara went from this to in a relationship. Make that make sense.
the Hater Nation, whatever, the Third Reich, whatever they're calling
The
themselves.
Third Reich
today.
got it.
I know they're like, oh, having a good old belly laugh about all this, right?
Are you?
You're worse than her.
We are,
You're
huh?
just you can't get STDs when nobody. You. That's the only problem.
That's one way to
Wait,
prevent.
Get STDs when nobody. You. That's the only problem.
That's one way to prevent STDs or unexpected pregnancy. The other way to avoid STDs and unexpected pregnancy
I think she say that to Ron because like all of Ron's kids are unexpected pregnancy.
is using contraception. Let's not forget unexpected pregnancy.
Lord have mercy. Borking. Thank you so much for the super chat. Girl, bitch became a new person in 4 months. She died. She must have died. And this is her corpse that we're dealing with present day. It's weird. Borking, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you supporting my channel unapologetically. Val, thank you so much for joining memberships. Forever a basic Betty, you shall be.
You have to be a complete narcissist to think that it is okay to go online and stuff your face until you're just ready to pop and then go out and raw dog dudes and contract STDs.
That's interesting, Negs, because that didn't stop you from begging her to come onto your channel to panel up twice. I would not have you or any of your friends on my channel. I would actually rather build a moat with alligators around my channel and gun turrets over my channel and a drawbridge accessing my channel than have any of you scumbags on my channel to filth up and pork up and be scum my channel. You all deserve each other. You're all exactly the same. You can't control your emotions. You can't control your temper. You lash out at people. You're impulsive, using your platform to smear people on the internet, to destroy people's reputations, to get people to feel
Hey, Katsuro.
sorry for you, to fill up your reservoir of pity, to send you money and ass pats and give you attention. You're all exactly the same, all of you. He writes,
And now look at you. Oh, this is my favorite part. All right, everybody, right now. I realize, sometimes we can become distracted during these live streams, especially the longer ones. I need everyone to pay attention. Eyes on the screen, listening ears on. This is the best fucking part ever. Watch.
LOL, she lies a lot. You know I care about you as a human, right? I'm not like those other clowns.
So this is the DM between Ron and Foodie Beauty. Agent of Chaos, Jean, thank you so much for gifting 10 Samantha, Jean memberships. Deborah, Lucy, Kale, Just Her Mimi, Rhonda Blackburn, Sarah, Kate, Love, Jana, Ashley, Social Love, and Spooky. Welcome. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate you supporting my channel, Agent of Chaos, Jean. Yeah. Did we shake anybody out of the tree? Hold on. Let me put her up on the board there. All right. Look at that. Did we shake anyone out of the tree? Where's my quick reference guide? Let's see. Here we go. Nope, I think we're good. All right. Maybe next time. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, Agent of Chaos, Jean. Welcome all new members. Oh, wait, shit. Hold on. Okay.
And I have a
Oh, yeah. So wait, that's what I was saying. Yeah. This is one of the DMs between Ron and Chantal that Ron dumped.
message, by the way. I'm not like those other clowns. And I have a message, by the way, for all of Chantal's members who joined Negs's membership. Ya burnt. Ya burnt. We warned you. I carry a gun because of people like her. Really? Where do you carry that gun, Negs? From your bedroom to the kitchen? You never leave your fucking house. Where are you going to go carrying a gun? And you hoard guns.
Hold on, I'm going to tap it back. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Clowns. And I have a message, by the way, for all of Chantal's members who joined Negs's membership. Ya burnt. Ya burnt. We warned you. I carry a gun because of people like her. Really? Where do you carry that gun, Negs? From your bedroom to the kitchen? You never leave your fucking house. Where are you going to go carrying a gun? And you hoard guns because you're out of your goddamn mind. Wasn't there a famous picture of him holding a rifle that looked like a musket from the Civil War era? I don't know. She says, yeah, I feel like you are not one of the morally inept morons of the YouTube world, LOL. I appreciate it, smiley face. Oh, what a judge of character you are, Chantal Olive Serault. Oh, you're not one of the morally inept morons. No, Negs, you're not. You're my hero. Oh, this part I wanted to read because this I thought was funny. Yeah, this is where he gives me a little shout out and give you attention. You're all exactly the same, all of you. He writes, LOL, she lies a lot. You know I care about you as a human, right? I'm not like those other clowns. And I have a message, by the way, for all of Chantal's members who joined Negs's membership. Ya burnt. Ya burnt. We warned you. I carry a gun because of people like her. Really? Where do you carry that gun, Negs? From your bedroom to the kitchen? You never leave your fucking house. Where are you going to go carrying a gun? And you hoard guns because you're out of your goddamn mind. Wasn't there a famous picture of him holding a rifle that looked like a musket from the Civil War era? I don't know.
That is my favorite fucking part right there. Very good. Thank you so much for the super chat, girl. DC, you choose to mate with this person. Why did it say error? Try again. There we go. Lord have mercy. Whenever my YouTube tells me error, try again, I worry that my channel is being terminated. No, I don't. Fuck you, Ron. You guys want to play that part again? God, that's my favorite part. I want to hear. Yeah, let's hear it.
Lies a lot. You know I care about you as a human, right? I'm not like those other clowns. And I have a message, by the way, for all of Chantal's members who joined Negs's membership. Ya burnt. Ya burnt. We warned you. I carry a gun because of people like her. Really? Where do you carry that gun, Negs? From your bedroom to the kitchen? You never leave your fucking house. Where are you going to go carrying a gun? And you hoard guns because you're out of your goddamn mind. Wasn't there a famous picture of him holding a rifle that looked like a musket from the Civil War era? I don't know. She says, yeah, I feel like you are not one of the morally
Tanner Flip, thank you so much for the super chat. This is glorious, is it not? God, I love it so much. Thank you, girl.
inept morons of the YouTube world, LOL. I appreciate it. Smiley face. Oh, what a judge of character you.
This is the Clara we need back. I think we need to launch some sort of like rescue mission. We need to rescue Clara. We need to deprogram her, reprogram her, put her back in Washington fucking DC where she belongs. What do you say?
You are Chantal Olive Serrault. Oh, you're not one of the morally inept morons. No, Negs, you're not. You're my hero. Oh, this part I wanted to read because this I thought was funny.
Slime Jello, nobody can answer that question. She literally went from this to showing up at his house and them being in a relationship.
Yeah, this is where he gives me a little shout out. This is what he said. Hey there, hope all is well. Wild idea. Me, you, Amberlynn, and Gaining Ground on a panel. Minds would explode. DC actually brought it up. LOL. I think we would break the internet. You're welcome, motherfucker. And guess what you broke? You broke your channel. Ha! Don't ever say I didn't give you anything, you scumbag.
That's right, Ron. Don't you ever say Clara didn't give you anything, you scumbag. 4 months later, she would give you like literally tens of thousands of dollars. It's fucking mind blowing. All right, so that's fun. Hold on a second. This is what I'm looking for, but I don't. Oh God, no, I don't want it like that. Hold on, because I think I deleted it. I think that's going to be it for the video clips. Not sure, but that's fine. Hold on. Let me make her as big as humanly possible. There we go. What are you guys seeing? Is that it? Yes, you are. All right. That was great, huh, guys? That was great. That was a good time. I'm glad we could take the time to watch that and enjoy it together. So I don't know if you guys know, but Nicketh Peen, yes, the Nicketh Peen, the distinguished moderator on our channel, she has a channel and she uploaded last night. She did a premiere of her audio recording of the Hussy versus Clara TRO hearing from September of last year. And if you recall, the TRO and preliminary injunction hearing took place in the Hussy's civil suit against Clara. The court, the judge in that case, really came down hard on Clara. The hearing was held. The judge made a decision that day, immediately granted the TRO and the preliminary injunction, referred to Clara and her words that she spoke on the internet about Hussy as vile. And then within a matter of days, Hussy in DC settled that case out of court. DC ended up paying Hussy $7,500, and there were non-disparagement and non-disclosure agreements signed by Hussy, Clara, and Ronaldo. But to date, you guys, unless you're in the courtroom that day, nobody's really heard that hearing And nobody bothered getting the transcripts. Everybody just kind of relied on those of us who were listening on our recaps of it. Well, I'm not going to play the recording of the hearing. That can be found over on Nikki P's channel. So I'm not going to play it. But I'm going to read some of the transcript. So, Nikki P, feel free to put the link to your channel in the chat. Not to that video directly, please, just to your channel. Thank you. Linguipster, thank you so much for the super chat. Girl, seriously, what is your theory on what happened with her? Did she fall? Because I cannot come up with something that even remotely makes enough sense. Honestly, I think that she is suffering from some sort of mental decline. I don't know what that is specifically, what she's suffering from, but she suffered some sort of mental break, and she's been on a mental decline ever since. I know there's some theory and speculation out there that perhaps when himself left her, that she kind of cracked. I don't know. Link Webster, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, girl. All right. So you have to kind of bear with me because it's a long one. And the transcript that I'm reading from is not the official court transcript. It is the YouTube generated transcript off of Nikki's upload of her audio recording of that hearing. So we'll see. I'm not going to read the entire thing. It's 38 pages. But I just kind of want to get to the good part and just kind of recap things for you. Hey, Hippie Peace, nice to see you, girl. Glad you're here. So, and I re-listened to the majority of the recording this morning, not all of it. Actually, no, I think I did listen to all of it. So at the beginning of this hearing, this is again back in September of last year. In fact, hold on, let me put a comment in the chat and then pin it. So this is transcript for Hussy v. Clara, TRO, last September, right before Clara settled with Hussy for $7,500. All right. That way anybody coming in knows what I'm reading, what we're talking about. Okay. So this was September of last year, and the hearing was held over Zoom. And the first, I kid you not, I think this hearing was scheduled for 2:00, and it took 40 minutes to finally get going because, spoiler, Clara was having
severe microphone issues.
Severe technical difficulties. She would come into the Zoom call and she'd be on camera and we would be able to hear her and see her, but she would act as if she couldn't hear anything. And it's so funny. It's so funny to actually listen to it because you can tell she can hear. But she was just playing games. I really think that initially her plan was to fake like she just through technical difficulties was unable to join the hearing to postpone it yet again. There's also at one point during this 40 minutes of trying to get Clara in on the Zoom call where the judge notices that Clara is in twice. And I think part of the problem was that I think she shared her link with Ron, maybe, and that's why she was showing up in there twice. I don't know. Do not drop the link to Nikki's video in the chat, please, but you can link to Nikki's channel. That's totally fine, but not to the video. Thank you. The judge literally says perhaps Miss Frank should log off at the beginning. Okay, so anyway, the transcript though starts at the point in time in which the judge, they've already Mr. Maxwell, who is Hussy's attorney. Hussy's attorney has told the court that he has one witness that he intends to call besides Hussy. And that is Clifford Rebello, Snifford himself. So Snifford was not in the Zoom meeting because if you're going to be called as a witness, you are taken out of the meeting room and placed into like a holding room. So Snifford just sat in the holding room the whole time. Spoiler alert, Snifford was never called as a witness. So he didn't get to listen. He did not get to participate. He did not to get he was not allowed to give his testimony. Nothing. Much I would imagine like what happened when later on fast forward like a year later and Snifford and Hussy tried to sue AK and they thought they were going to appear remotely for that hearing that day. And they sat and waited and waited and waited for the link that never came. Anyway, I digress. So, Snifford was moved out of the room and he ultimately was not called. So let's see. Hold on just one second. So it's a lot of talk between the judge and Clara's attorney, trying to get Clara in the room and being able to hear things. The judge offered pretty much like every possible solution to the problem, was even willing to allow Clara to participate by phone because she kept appearing on camera. So her camera was working. And the judge said that she had to be able to see Clara on camera in order to judge credibility. In fact, here's the part of it. Because the attorneys both said that they would be okay with Clara just calling in and participating over the phone. And the judge says, Miss Frank would also like to continue. This is Clara's attorney saying this. Miss Frank would also like to continue. She's told me, she said she doesn't know what the issue is, but she can see us. We just can't see her. And the camera seems to be on, but she would like to call into court if she can do it that way and just be on audio. The judge says, okay, that is not the court's preference. The court certainly has to judge credibility. It's difficult to do that by audio. And so if that's one of the reasons why the court required video in lieu of personal appearance. Is she on a telephone or is she connected via video? She has done both of those. And she's right now, this is her attorney saying she's on a desktop. So her attorney's like, she's tried everything, Your Honor. I'm looking for, hold on, let me just scroll. Just give me a second. Wait, can I? Hold on. Yes. No. Okay. Okay, so here it is. So the judge was getting irritated with her off top. And I think that the judge even could tell that Clara was full of shit and that she could hear. Anyway, so the judge says, this is after like halfway through them struggling to get Clara on. She's like, so I'm just a bit surprised that as a digital content creator who streams on various platforms, that she's unable to get her phone to work for this very important meeting. And I'm not making any representations. I'm just quite curious as to why that is. And then she says, hold on. I lost my place. I'm just curious as to why that is. I know the parties have had to reschedule this on at least 2 occasions. I'm certain the parties will like a decision, but I need to be able to communicate and see Miss Frank. So how would the parties like to proceed? And that's when they start talking about, she can call in. And the judge says flat out, that is not the court's preference. The court certainly has to judge credibility, and it's difficult to do that by audio. That's one of the reasons why the court required a video in lieu of personal appearance. I think this judge had Clara's ticket before this hearing even started. She already knew she was full of shit. Much like this countersuit that she's now filed in the breach of contract claim case with Hussy. And this is not the same judge in the original case and the breach of contract case and the countersuit. Not the same judge. But they definitely none of these judges anywhere are buying anything that Clara has to say. None of them. Not in Washington, D.C., not in Fayette County, Indiana, not in Floyd County, Indiana, nowhere. Yet she just continues and continues and continues filing shit in court, threatening to file shit in court. Like I said yesterday, Clara Hondra, I fucking dare you. Nikki says, Samantha Jane, remember DCS stuff was all fine until they said Clifford's name? Oh, DC stuff was all fine until they said Clifford's name. No, I didn't remember that, but I'll take your word for it on that. So you're saying that she was present, everything was working, video, audio, and then they said that Cliff was going to be the witness and suddenly she couldn't hear anything? Pinky Pink, thank you so much for being a member for 21 months. Forever Basic Betty, you shall be. This is so good. It really is. This is so much fun. All right, hold on. Where was I? Okay, so yeah. So that's the judge basically like, I cannot believe she is a digital Yeah, she says, I'm just a bit surprised that as a digital content creator who streams on various platforms that she's unable to get her phone to work for this very important meeting. By the way, I can give you timestamps. The timestamp of Nikki's video when these remarks are being made. So if you want to hear that one, the timestamp there is 5 minutes and 11 seconds. 5:11, if you want to hear the judge call bullshit that Clara can't get her shit to work for the meeting. The timestamp for the judge saying that that's not the court's preference because she has to be able to judge credibility. 6 minutes, 42 seconds. Oh, there's timestamps in the comments too. Yes, there are. Thank you. All right, so they go on and on and on and on and on. They even start actively talking about rescheduling the hearing again. The judge says she has just a few moments. This is at 13 minutes. This is how long it's going on. Now and this isn't 13 minutes of the hearing. This is at 13 minutes of Nikki's video. The judge is saying, so we just have a few moments and we're going to have to reschedule because the court cannot accommodate waiting much longer as the court has other matters and the time is 2:39 p.m. God, this is great. Okay, so they literally start talking about new dates to reschedule. The attorneys are saying they're not available on this date, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, Clara gets her shit working and she can see and hear. See and hear. So the court calls the case. They are sworn in. Do you affirm and swear that the testimony you give today in open court is the truth and nothing but the truth? All right. So then the judge says, right, very good. So I understand that defamatory remarks on any social media platform. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the judge reading like what they're asking for. And that is to have any defamatory remarks on any social media platforms removed. Remove any defamatory remarks that currently exist on all social media platforms. The plaintiff contends, Hussy, the plaintiff contends that there would likely be a success on the merits in this case because the defendant, according to the plaintiff, has knowingly, intentionally, and recklessly published false and defamatory statements against the plaintiff with no basis in fact or truth. Are you listening, Clara? These words should sound familiar to you, and you should apply them to both you and Ron's present day words and actions. Or don't. or keep going. I guess, like I said, you can't put that tube back in the toothpaste now, can you? Anyway, the plaintiff alleges that irreparable injury would most certainly occur if the court were to deny the injunctive relief, that the plaintiff will continue to be subjected to unnecessary attacks. Additionally, the plaintiff contends that the public has an interest to ensuring rather that persons are not allowed to falsely and publicly, I don't know what that word is because it's from the transcript, falsely and publicly something in front of thousands of individuals online. The court is uncertain as to how far in reach each of these platforms are, but I assume the court will hear testimony on the issue. Of course, the defendant filed opposition, and the defendant largely states, that's Clara, largely states that Hussy would not have a likelihood on the success of the merits because Hussy would have to prove that the statements were indeed untrue and that they were not just opinions, or is it hyperbole? I always say it wrong, which the Constitution does not prohibit. Pinky Pink, thank you so much for the super chat, girl. Just because I love the pick of Kalanka. So do I. Thank you so much for the super chat, Pinky Pink. Okay. Claims. Okay, hold on. Not just opinions, which the Constitution does not prohibit. The defendant also claims that the plaintiff is seeking monetary damages, and because of the damages, injunctive relief is not appropriate at this time because injunctive relief is only for those matters in which a monetary award would not suffice. The defendant also contains that the plaintiff's motion is defeated by its very own pleadings because the pleading suggests that the harm has already occurred. In other words, the defendant contends that the statements already exist in the public domain and that there is no foreseeable, that the plaintiff is not so entitled to injunctive relief until the court does. This is where she starts. So the court does have a few questions. Okay. So basically, Clara's side was saying, Your Honor, distinguished court, there's no need for a temporary injunction or a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction because all of the complaints that Hussy has brought forth on Clara can all be solved with money, with a financial settlement or whatever, which is not the case. Like literally, what Hussy was asking for in the TRO and the preliminary injunction was to force Clara to take all those posts down and to not make any more. So I don't even know why what was her name? Donna Biederman even tried that shit. All right. So the judge says, so the court does have a few questions. I understand that the plaintiff has a witness. This is not a trial on the merits. This is simply a motion hearing to determine if a preliminary injunction is appropriate. And so I want to manage expectations, and I want the attorneys only to focus on the injunctive relief. I will say at the outset that to obtain a temporary restraining order, there must be some showing that between some showing of irreparable harm or danger during that time required to brief, to argue, and to decide a motion for preliminary injunction. That didn't make any sense. She says, given the current posture of the case, namely that the TRO was filed contemporaneously with the complaint back in March of 2023, mind you, this is now September, the court finds that a TRO at this juncture would be inappropriate because of the time frame contemplated by our rules, specifically Rule 65 in particular, having long expired. However, a preliminary injunction may very well be appropriate, and that is what I will take testimony on. And so my first question is to you, Mr. Maxwell, who is Hussy's attorney. Are the defamatory statements alleged that serve the basis for the complaint? Are those statements found on pages 2 through 5 of the complaint? So they go back and forth. The judge wants to know basically like when was the last time that Clara made any sort of defamatory statement against Hussy? And the judge says, according to the paperwork, the most recent remark was made on March 7th. Is that and so she asks, Pinky Pink, the 13 pages of discovery is what AK dumped on Hussy and Gigi in their case, which is totally separate from this. Oh, right, Pinky Pink. I get it. I see what you're saying. Was it 13 pages? I think it was more than that. Okay, so anyway, so the judge wants to know if March 7th was the last time DC had said something defamatory, and Attorney Maxwell, Hussy's attorney, says no, it was actually June of this year. So then Hussy's attorney is having to explain to the judge that in June of 2023, that Clara went on a live stream on Twitch, that it was not her Twitch account, it was somebody else's Twitch account, but that Clara was a guest on the live stream, and that there were things being said about Hussy directly on that live stream, such as calling him a sex predator and a child molester. And that Clara Frank not only agreed with the people on that panel who were saying that, but she said it herself as well. So, this is what Robert Maxwell is saying about it. He says, okay, so the judge asked, does the content remain indefinitely online or was it taken down? Hussy's attorney says, well, it was public, but then it was made private, available only to that channel subscribers, and that the community is made up of about 2,000 or so people. And then the judge asks, so she was a guest on the stream, or during this video, did she discuss specifically your client, or did that come from other guests or other platform subscribers? And Attorney Maxwell said they all discussed my client, as well as I believe 2 other people that could be, I'm not sure what that meant. Okay, he says there was discussion about the plaintiff being a pedophile. And that was the nature of the discussion on the panel. And Hussy's attorney said that Miss Frank was agreeing with the statements largely, and then saying them out loud herself, that yes, he is a sexual predator. Yes, he is a pedophile. Yes, he is a predator. All right. Let me skip past. Now they're just talking about like if they know when that particular Twitch stream was made private. And this is kind of where we thought Maxwell was going to blow it, because there was a lot of questions about like specifically like the date, the time frame of when this happened. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. So now the judge is asking like basically some history on these people in front of her. She wants to know like how they met online and so forth. So Hussy's attorney said that Hussy and DC are part of the same community where they make satire videos. Essentially, they make fun of people for a living. They make these videos to get views, and they get paid either by direct donations or they get paid by subscriber base. So how many people actually watch the video? He said at first they were friends and they were interacting with each other, as even though they lived in 2 separate locations. Miss Frank lived in Washington, D.C. Hussy lived in New York. At some point down the line, someone started calling Hussy a predator and a sex pedophile. as part of a revenge scheme. And for some reason, he says, Miss Frank then jumped on the bandwagon and started to attack my client directly with those same terms. And she started posting on Twitter, going on videos and live streams, talking about that type of thing. And so their relationship, she said it kind of twisted based on a gentleman named Ron Corbin. He said, Hussy's attorney said that Ron Corbin is essentially the trigger point between Clara and Hussy. And that is how all of this started. Ron Corbin was the one who was after revenge, and he's in Indiana. Miss Frank started dating Ron Corbin, and that's kind of how it all triggered downhill. Except Miss Frank took this even farther than just what she continues to say it over and over again. She's even posted a picture of Hussy comparing him to an actual convicted sex offender of children, and continues to go that she's even stated that she is trying to destroy his Twitter account and his Twitch channel and bringing his money down. Like, she said it directly in the video that it was her intent. Now, isn't that crazy how present day Clara and Ron are stating very clearly that it is their intent to get me and Yaba's YouTube channels taken down, and that they are also referring to us as predators and pedophiles? It's as if these people learn absolutely nothing. Isn't that wild? I find it wild. All right. I'm going to scroll past some of the legal mumbo jumbo, that talk about, arguing about reparable harm and how it can be rectified monetarily and shit like that. I'm not interested in reading through that. Hold on one second. Wait. Where is Alex, I opened what you sent me to play and I totally forgot to push it and play. You have to remind me. I'll play it at the end. Okay, hold on. Okay. Oh, there is talk about whether or not Hussy talks about Ron's minor child, that he likes to accuse everybody of. Apparently everybody's going around the internet talking about Ron's minor child. I must say, for Hussy being the motherfucker that he is, he performed during this hearing. He performed beautifully. He really did. I'm trying to find where Clara flat out denies having said that shit. I might not be able to find it. I should have went through this before, but I didn't have time. Hold on. Okay, here it is. So this is, I'm not going to read it all. I'm sure everybody is going to go back and listen to the hearing, so it's totally fine. But this is after Hussy has testified and said that that Clara had calls him all those things, the predator, the sex predator, and the child molester and stuff like that. So I think this is okay. So the judge says to Maxwell, which is Hussy's attorney, she says, Maxwell, before I hear from um, Miss Biederman, I have a few questions. My question is, does Miss Frank contest the fact that she did not make these statements, or is the allegation that she made them and she believes that they are true? And she says, you're on mute. Miss Biederman says, depends on what allegation you're referring to. If you're talking about the pedophile, she never called them a pedophile. So that is at timestamp 3643, where you can hear the judge ask Miss Biederman directly. If Clara is denying saying that, and that right there, that 36 or 37-minute timestamp is where Clara's attorney tells the judge she did not say that. I'm looking, there's another part where she says it too. Okay, so then the judge says again, does your client deny making those statements? And Biederman says, she does, Your Honor. She did call him a predator at one point, but not a sex predator. She has never called him a sex predator, never called him a child molester, never. So that is at timestamp of Nikki's video, basically the 38-minute mark, where she says that Clara says she never called him those things. Okay. So I'm going to bop over here. Nikki has time stamped 57 minutes and 5 seconds when the first clip is played. So I'm not going to play the hearing, any part of the hearing. Oh, you have the clips directly. Where did you send them? Hold on. There we go. Wait, Lisa Simpson sent them. Sorry. Awesome. All right. So Lisa sent the actual. So these are the clips that were played in court. Hold on. Here we go. Let me turn my volume all the way up. So these clips now, so the judge asks Clara's attorney flat out. What is that? Hold on. Give me a second. My daughter started sharing her location with me. She's so cute. And no, it doesn't work. Hold on. All right. Sorry. So this is after the judge asks flat out. Thank you, Lisa Simpson, by the way. If Clara said or called Hussy all those things, and Clara and her attorney both said she didn't. And there was a lot of work that went into getting these clips because for whatever reason, Robert Maxwell, Hussy's attorney, did not have these clips ready to play. But he eventually got them. And I don't think the hearing necessarily would have went his way had they not scratched up these clips. So let's listen to the first clip that was played in court.
He's a predator. He's a predator, plain and simple. Predatora. Cool. He's a fucking psycho. Fucking psycho. Psycho. He's fucking psycho. He's fucking psycho.
All right, what's the next one? Clara wishes Hussy to get beat up. Hold on, this is a different. Hold on, let me back it up. Share this one.
And yes, Hussy, I want to make this very clear, okay? I want you to write down what I'm going to say right now. I do believe 1,000,000% that you are a sexual predator.
Oh my God.
100,000,000%.
What? Play it again.
And yes, Hussy, I want to make this very clear, okay? I want you to write down what I'm going to say right now. I do believe 1,000,000% that you are a sexual predator. 100,000,000%.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, give me 1 second before I bop over here. I want to listen. Hold on. Wendy from Dr. Phil. Ah, crap. Wendy from Dr. Phil says, "Welp, I think Hussy wrote it down." I think so as well. All right. So this is the clip of the voice recording, or this is the clip that was played in court. One of them.
Donors, his community members. He's a predator. He's a predator, plain and simple. Predator. Because you're a fucking predator. You're a predator.
That's the one we heard. Okay. Hold on. Let me share over here again. Give me a second to queue up the second clip. And Nikki has this one timestamped and marked the second clip that won the case, and that is in the description for anybody who is going to be listening for themselves after my stream. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Hold on.
Miss Kenny, I take back, I don't know how many of you heard me last night during the quadrant of terror. Can you raise the volume of you? I was trying to be tactful and diplomatic when I was on Chef Leftover stream. I take all that back. You are a sex predator, Kenny. Take me to court. I'm going to add something to the
Wow, you are a sex predator, Kenny. Take me to court. That is what she said. And that is what he did. That is what he did. Okay, so that's really truly the gist of basically what happened in court. Like really truly. Like the allegation is that Clara's going on the internet calling Hussy a sex predator, a predator, and a child molester. They were able to prove it with clips. And the judge ruled in their favor. Now, give me 1 second. Hold on. All right. So I'm going to skip to the point to where, could you guys hear that? I know it was low. Anyway, I'm going to skip. So literally, I'm looking at the transcript. Okay. I'm going to put this on the screen now. This is the transcript from Nikki's video. And as you can see, what we just heard was right here. This is what we just heard Clara say. So this is while they're playing, or this is the transcript that YouTube picked up from the clip of Clara that was played just now, where she calls him Kenny. Kenny. I was trying to be tactful and diplomatic when I was on whatever Chef Leftover stream. I take all that back. You are a sex predator, Kenny. Take me to court. That's what we just heard. And literally after that clip is turned off, this is the next thing the judge says is, all right, Mr. Maxwell, I assume that there are no more videos. And then Maxwell says that will be the last one. All right, no further questions. And then the judge says, all right, the court is ready to rule. Do you see that? How literally as soon as this clip is turned off, right after the clip of Clara saying, I take all that back. You are a sex predator, Kenny. Take me to court. The judge says the court is ready to rule. And it gets better. The court says, however, I want you guys to be able to look at Clara. All right, because I have a feeling that's what Clara looked like at this time. The judge says, all right, the court is ready to rule. However, Miss Biederman, which is Clara's attorney, I recognize that you have not had an opportunity to question Miss Frank, and I don't want to deprive you of that opportunity, although the court has all the information it believes that it needs. However, if you believe that it is in your client's interest to testify, I certainly something when you no, okay, I certainly, and then this part says talk when you don't need to. That was Nikki saying it. So then Clara's attorney says, yes, I do, Your Honor. So then Clara's attorney wants to question Clara anyway, even though the court made it clear. The court is ready to rule. However, Ms. Biederman, I realize you haven't had a chance to allow your client to speak. I don't want to deprive you of that opportunity. And she says it again. Although the court has all the information it believes that it needs, she's telling you there's nothing that your client is going to be able to say at this point that will change my mind, because I literally just heard. Not only did Clara say, I take it all back, you are a sex predator, she calls him by his government name. She calls him Kenny and then says, take me to court. Yeah. I know Lisa Simpson, I love that part too. She said, go on, Clara. Talk when you don't need to. How did I do? Didn't it sound just like her? I'm going to say it again. She said, go on, Clara. Talk when you don't need to. Nikki says I was willing her to speak so bad. Yeah, sure. Hand her a shovel so she can bury herself some more. I think at that point, Donna Biederman was so fucking irate at her client for having not only Clara lied to her attorney, and then which in turn resulted in her attorney repeating that lie to the court. Attorneys don't fucking like that. Like, I cannot stress this enough. I don't care what the situation or reason is that you're consulting with an attorney. If you are seeking legal representation for a matter going before the court, no matter what it is, never, ever lie to the attorney you're asking to represent you. You tell them the truth, the whole truth. Leave nothing out, sugarcoat nothing. Otherwise, they are not going to be able to defend you in court if you've lied to them. Clara, is that a lesson you've learned? Something in the orange tells me we're not done. Anyhow, so even though the court told her, I have all the information I need and I'm ready to rule, Biederman still asked questions of Miss Frank. So, Miss Biederman asked her client, Miss Frank, when is the last time you made any statement about the plaintiff in this case? She said, before, listen to this part. She says, before commenting on the witness list, I can't even remember the last time I did. It was months ago, maybe weeks ago. I don't remember. I haven't streamed about him in months, and I haven't tweeted about him in months. So Clara admitted to having made a comment about Hussy's witness list, which I believe the comment that she made about the witness list was like 2 days before this hearing. And if you recall, the people on Hussy's witness list, I believe the complete list was myself, Gaining Ground, and I think the Real Crochetter. No, that one. I don't know. Anyway, I have to look it up. But it was me. It was Snifford and damn it, Amber. I'm pretty sure probably Alex or AK have the screenshot of that DM or that Discord message where she discloses who Hussy's witnesses are and calls us all the biggest liars on the internet. Uh-huh. Okay, so hold on. Let me find the rest of that part. Give me 1 second. So Clara admits just before commenting on the witness list, I can't remember the last time I said anything. Hold on. I mean, she goes on and on and on. Fuck it. I'm just going to read it. Where is it? Okay, once again, Miss Frank, we can't hear you. Okay, so can you hear me now? Yes, it's good. Okay, so she goes, before commenting on the witness list, I can't even remember the last time I did. It was months ago, maybe weeks ago. I don't remember. I haven't streamed about him in months and I haven't tweeted about him in months. And then Biederman says, okay, do you have any plans to do so in the future? And she said, no. Biederman says, why did this problem between you and the plaintiff arise? And Clara says, well, it was in 2021. He was being hounded and his channel was being reported by many, many, many people. He wanted me to help put a stop to it. I told him that I couldn't do that I didn't have the power to do it. Hussy had gotten very, very angry at a couple of other content creators and was losing his temper on Twitter for weeks. I tried warning him that if he didn't calm down and stop responding in such a hostile way, he was probably going to lose his channel, and that there was nothing I could do to stop hundreds and hundreds of people from what couldn't have done. I couldn't have stopped hundreds and hundreds of people. Something about I couldn't have done more at the time. And then Biederman says, what do you mean by his channel ended up coming down? Clara says, YouTube took his channel down for bullying and harassment. And Biederman says, and when was that? Clara says, I think it was sometime in the late summer, early fall, maybe the fall of 2021. I'm not quite sure. That's interesting because that's when Ron's channel came down too, was the fall of 2021, wasn't it? Anyway, she says, this is Clara. Clara says, no one individual content creator can get a channel taken down unless they're a huge content creator in the millions. My subscriber rate was like 10 or 11,000 at that time. I did not report his channel. I had nothing to do with it. But again, there were hundreds of people reporting his tweets, which were extremely inflammatory, and he wouldn't stop. So people reported his channel, and he's lost a number of YouTube channels since then for the same reason. And then Biederman says, and what happened between then and the spring of this year? Clara says, well, my boyfriend, Ron Corbin, who goes by Negs online, had a falling out with Hussy about another court case that he was involved in. There was a lot of bad blood when Negs and I decided to bury the hatchet. And then eventually when we got together, Hussy would not stop talking about us every single day. Hussy sent the police to our home. It wasn't my home at the time. It was Mr. Corbin's home at the time over a dispute involving Twitch. He proceeded to lie for weeks about sending the police here. It was a wellness check, although, according to his friends, Hussy called the Connersville Police Department over and over and over and over again, trying to get a police officer sent to this house. And that's not the first time he's done it. And then, mid-sentence, Clara says, according to his friends, Hussy called the Connersville Police Department over and over and over again, trying to get a police officer sent in this house. And it's not the first time he's done it. I sent Mr. And literally mid fucking word, the judge steps in and says, Miss Frank, you are not to provide any further testimony as it relates to this incident. She stopped her cold dead in her tracks. The judge did. The judge did. Swear. Say swear. Swear. Mm-hmm. The judge says, Miss Frank, you are not to provide any further testimony as it relates to this incident. And then she says, and Miss Biederman, I'd like you to direct your client to only because I lost interest. It was too much, okay? And you have said that you know that he is making more money now than before. How do you know that? Well, I mean, he's openly shown a pair of, this is Clara's answer. He's openly shown a pair of $1,000 sneakers that one of his prescribers sent him, boasting about how generous his audience is and how much money they send him occasionally. Occasionally, he will hold up the phone to the camera and show a very large donation that came in. And then she says something about his subscriber count has gone up. He boasted about it. The attorney asked Clara how she knows that his subscriber count went up, and Clara says there are websites that track that. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay. So then we're on to this now Hussy's attorney gets the opportunity to redirect, or I'm sorry, to cross-examine. And Maxwell says, you admit that you have a subscriber base of at least 10,000 people. Clara says, not on Rumble. I don't. That was on YouTube. Rumble, I have under 1,000 subscribers. I have maybe 850. Maxwell says, how many subscribers do you have on Twitter? She says, I don't know, maybe 1,300. And he says, she says, do you admit that they retweet the things that you post on Twitter? And she says, sure, that's how Twitter works. Then he says, do you admit to calling Hussy a sex predator now? And Clara says, I guess I did. I heard it. And then Maxwell says, do you have a basis? Do you have a basis for calling him a sex predator? Clara says, this is her testimony. She says, well, he had tweeted out a picture of himself with what appeared to be a very impaired, much younger man covered in lipstick. And the caption was, the proof is in the pudding. And many people found that the man looked like he was passed out. His eyes were closed. And a number of people on Twitter were speculating as to whether or not that man was drunk or on drugs or something of that nature. But yeah, I mean, this is a man who, according to a number of witnesses, has requested sexual material from straight men online. And it's an opinion. It's an opinion. I don't have evidence of an arrest record or anything like that, but it's an opinion that I formed based on what I saw of his behavior. And then Maxwell basically says no further questions. And then the judge says to Clara's attorney that redirect. And there was some question about whether or not Clara's Rumble and Twitter are private or private or public. All right. So then the judge says, okay, the court does not need to hear closing arguments in this case. I think the court has provided both parties an opportunity to be heard, and this court is ready to rule. Hold on. Where? Hold on. I'm looking for something. Give me a second. Okay, so I have to go back. I thought this was at the end, but this was, I think you can, if you're following along with timestamps for Nikki's video, you're going to be looking at like 25 minutes, 30 seconds, where Maxwell, attorney Maxwell, Hussy's attorney, is talking to the judge about Clara having commented on Hussy's witness list online. So Maxwell says, Your Honor, 2 days ago, she went on a chat where she was discussing and talking about the witness list I just filed 2 days ago. She was discussing the witnesses and saying that the witnesses are liars and stuff of that nature in order to kind of intimidate the witness on the witness list. The judge says to that, the judge's response is, well, I can say to Miss Frank, if that is true, it is entirely inappropriate. And I am certain that Miss Biederman, your counsel, will further explain to you why that is entirely inappropriate and could be detrimental to your own defense in this case. And so I would prohibit you, Miss Frank. If what Mr. Maxwell is saying is indeed true, I would prohibit the the defendant from discussing this matter on social media platforms and certainly from taking any action that might discourage a witness. And if the court hears that this continues, then there will be repercussions. So I hope that my warnings are taken very seriously. So in all of these court cases and court hearings that we have heard about, all involving Ron or Clara, Ron and Clara talk a lot about the judge said this, the judge told you this, the judge ordered this. Yet in reality, none of that's true. But we're hearing right here in this hearing from September of last year, where the judge told Clara that there will be repercussions and that she hopes her warnings are taken very seriously. So there's that. All right. So then down, I'm going back now to the last part of the hearing where the court is ruling. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, here it is. So it's the 1 hour, 16 minute, 28 second mark in Nikki's video. Says the court does not need to hear closing arguments in this case. I think the court has provided both parties an opportunity to be heard. The court is ready to rule. The court, of course, mentioned at the onset that a TRO is not appropriate at this juncture, given the fact that the motion for the TRO and preliminary injunction was filed in March of 2023, but the court would consider the merits whether or not a preliminary injunction is appropriate in this case. So in doing so, the court must consider a few factors, the first of which is whether or not there's a likelihood of success on the merits. And that is whether or not there is a likelihood of success on the merits of the complaint filed by the plaintiff. The court finds that there is a likelihood of success on the merits of the case based upon what the record currently demonstrates. Although the defendant contends that these statements are just opinions and made in jest, the court cannot imagine, listen to this, she says, the court cannot imagine a scenario in which being called, Clara and Ron, are you fucking listening? How much of Clara's dead aunt's money do you have left? I'd like to know. The court cannot imagine a scenario in which being called a sexual predator or a psycho is simply made in jest. Now, of course, the court finding that this factor leans in favor of the plaintiff, which it does not suggest that the plaintiff will indeed be successful in this case before a jury. But at this juncture, the court's inquiry is only whether or not there is a likelihood of success. And the court finds the answer to that question to be yes. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Okay, hold on. The second element as to whether or not there is likely irreparable harm in the absence of preliminary relief. Our Superior Court Rule 65 provides that if there is a showing of immediate or irreparable injury, irreparable means cannot be cured absent the relief that Miss Frank is enjoined. And hold on, agreeing that the plan. I think that the transcript got it wrong there, but basically saying irreparable injury means cannot be cured absent the relief. Miss Frank joining in the choir. Okay, that's what it was. Miss Frank joining in the choir and agreeing that the plaintiff is a pedophile, and this allegedly occurred on Twitch. While this was not Miss Frank's platform, it was on someone else's platform, and at some point it was public, but subsequently was made private. The court also saw plaintiff's video, which was made in early March of this year. The plaintiff testified he believes it was 4 or 5 months ago. And in that video, Miss Frank states, and I quote, excuse the court's language, quote, "You are a predator and a psycho." Miss Frank also states, and I quote, and I apologize for the court's language, said that I wanted you to get your ass beat. The court also reviewed plaintiff's video, which is a video made in February 12th of 2023. This video, contrary to the allegations of Miss Frank, whom now recalls such discussion, Miss Frank indicated that Hussy is indeed a sex predator. The plaintiff has testified that not only has Miss Frank indicated he is a sex predator, but that he is also a child molester. There's been some talk about Mr. Corbin and perhaps being the impetus for the breakdown of the friendship between the parties, but Mr. Corbin is not a party to the case. While this breakdown with Mr. Corbin may be relevant, the court currently has no jurisdiction over the behavior of Mr. Corbin, and so as it relates to the second element, the court finds that it indeed weighs in favor of the plaintiff. The plaintiff indeed will suffer irreparable harm, and this case that is immediate, and that may be suffered in the future, given the quite vile statements made by Miss Frank. The third is, I think so. Hold on. Okay. The third, where was I? I lost my place. Hold on. Okay. The third is the balance of the equities in favor of one party or the other. The court finds that if the preliminary injunction is denied, then the plaintiff may continue to be subjected to the vile comments made by this defendant. Comments that are being streamed to who knows how many people on a particular platform. While certainly the internet has allowed for the expression of opinions and such, certainly the internet should not be used to bully or to harass or to make untrue statements about the character of a person, particularly when that character assessment is one relating to the molestation of children and predatory behavior as it relates to children. The court does not find that one has a right to do so on a platform that even they have created, not even a platform that they have created. And so the court finds that the equities balance in favor of the plaintiff. And in terms of the last element, the public interest, the court indeed finds that it is in the public interest for the court to grant the injunctive relief, because while Ms. Frank is free to earn an income and to express opinions about certain topics, she certainly has no constitutional right to defame an individual, particularly in the manner in which the plaintiff is alleging. The court finds the statements to be vile. The court finds the statements to be disproportionate, perhaps to the reasoning for the breakdown of the relationship, and the court is going to grant the temporary restraining order and enjoin Miss Frank from making any further defamatory remarks against the plaintiff. Something tells me that these are all statements that Clara Frank and Ron Corbin are going to be hearing from another judge in another case in another state in another county before this is all said and done. Are you listening, Aaliyah Alexander? Are you listening? Hey, Aaliyah, answer the door. Or don't. So in other words, none of them learned anything. Nope. Nothing. Hold on. Where's my comments? Let me take that down. All right. I am going to, I'm going to mute this for just a second. Ugh. Hold on one second. Ah, shoot. I dropped it. I'll be right back. Sorry, I should put some hold music on there as well. Answer the door. Hippie P says, so the judge said, shut it. And she still didn't listen. No, she didn't. Clara had the nerve to get on stream after this and say I wasn't found guilty of defamation. Oh, that's wild. Hold on. I need to get myself back together. All right. So that was fun. I have something else I'm going to read. Just, now that we've read that, right? And we know what happened over there in that case. This is I don't know. I guess it's just a brief, but not so brief narrative, maybe. Hold on. Jojo says, I got called a PDF apologist by Negs just last night for being in Sam's streams. Really? He had AI write a song about it? Really? Well, I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of Clara, these same people, Clara and Ron, calling Yaba and I all sorts of things, such as pedophiles, pedophile apologist, pedophile adjacent. He's come right out and even said that one of us is likely a pedophile and has engaged in those sort of acts. Like, he said all this just within the last month. And then there's, of course, the threats that have been made towards myself and Yaba. All of this over the last several years, it's all the result of Ron and DC both being very weak-minded individuals who are easily manipulated and gassed up by who? By their fan fiction farmer friends, right? Isn't that right, Aaliyah Alexander? So angry that Sam and Yaba weren't canceled. Seething. Absolutely fucking seething, right? So here's a little history. And it goes something like this. In June 2018, Ronald Corbin orchestrated a false report of child abuse and neglect to Clark County, Indiana DCS, which resulted in DCS and the Clark County, Indiana Sheriff's Department coming to Corey Ruth's home to investigate. Nothing was substantiated. On December 30th, 2022, Corbin and Frank orchestrated a false report to DCS, which resulted in Ruth Telfer and their children being contacted and investigated by both Clark County and Floyd County DCS. again with allegations of abuse and drug use. Nothing was substantiated. On August 22nd, 2024, last week, Floyd County DCS once again contacted Ruth and Telfer following a false report being called into DCS alleging child abuse and domestic violence. This time there were allegations of child sexual abuse involving Ruth's 8-year-old daughter. 2 days prior to the DCS contact with Ruth and Telfer, Corbin hosted a live stream on the Live Me website where he talked about Ruth and Telfer and made every single allegation that would end up being reported to DCS the following day. URL provided. In December of 2022, Ronald Corbin, Clara Frank, and other associates began making direct and indirect threats via social media platforms Rumble, YouTube, and Twitter of sending DCS and the police to the home of Ruth and Telfer via a swatting incident. On July 27th, 2024, Corbin and Frank posted a video on social media website Rumble titled Yaba's Dead Baby Daddy Was a Diddler, URL provided. During this video, Ron Corbin presented on screen and read aloud the partially redacted Harrison County, Indiana DCS report detailing the sexual abuse allegations involving Jesse Harris and a 4-year-old family member. Jesse Harris is the now deceased father of Corey Ruth's 3 minor children. Corbin did not redact the child victim's mother's name from the confidential DCS report. Corbin repeatedly stated the mother's name and Jesse Harris' name throughout this live video. The thumbnail image for this video is a photo of Corey Ruth's face. Clara Frank joined Corbin on this July 27th, 2024 live broadcast at the 1 hour, 19-minute timestamp. Since July 27th, Corbin and Frank have made dozens, if not hundreds, of posts and videos across multiple social media platforms, including Rumble and X, formerly known as Twitter, with no other purpose than to harass, terrorize, humiliate, and threaten Ruth Telfer, their children, the 4-year-old sex abuse victim, and the victim's mother. On August 2nd, 2024, Corbin and Frank hosted a Rumble live video originally titled Put You Down Like a Rabid Dog, URL provided. In this video, Corbin admits that he armed himself with firearms purchased and provided to him by Clara Frank. Corbin states several times that he went looking for Telfer upon learning from Frank that Telfer was in Connorsville to observe a court hearing. Clara Frank states on this video that upon returning home from the hearing, she told Corbin that Telfer was in Connorsville, and she affirms that Corbin armed himself with a firearm and, quote, went looking for Telfer. Frank affirms Corbin's statement that he was, quote, hoping to find you, Sam, and, quote, stand over you, looking down at all 5'1" of you and have a conversation, and, quote, make sure you got the fuck out of my town. Corbin placed the following tags on this video, which include the words podcast, comedy, Sam Telfer, stalker, weirdo, gun, bang, dead, assault, and murder. See attachment. During Corbin and Frank's August 2nd, 2024 Rumble live video, Put You Down Like a Rabid Dog, now titled Jesse Harris is Still a Pedophile, Corbin has displayed behind him, laying horizontally across several guitars, standing against the wall, an AR-15 rifle. Prior to the August 2nd, 2024 live stream, Corbin never displayed any firearms within the camera frame purposely. Timestamps from the August 22nd, 2024 Rumble video titled Put You Down Like a Rabid Dog. 14 minutes, 45 seconds. Ron Corbin. I don't care. Don't forget, both of us are armed and we've had enough of all of this shit. If you come here, I will put you down like a rabid dog. Clara Frank. The two of us are armed. You want to call that a threat? Report it to the police. Be my guest. Clara Frank at the 15-minute, 55-second timestamp admits she tried to have Telfer removed from the courtroom by the sheriff and the judge, accusing Telfer of stalking, threats, and harassment. 17 minutes, 40 seconds. Both Corbin and Frank state that nothing is going to deter them from continuing to harass Telfer and Ruth about the child molestation allegations against Jesse Harris, Corey Ruth's now deceased father of her 3 minor children. Corbin and Frank somehow obtained the confidential 311 DCS report investigating these allegations from September 2023, 3 days before Harris died of a drug overdose. Ruth and Telfer report never publicly disclosed anything relating to the events surrounding the allegations against Jesse Harris. It is unknown how Corbin and Frank obtained a statutorily confidential DCS investigation report. Corbin and Frank continue to post daily dozens, if not hundreds, of messages and videos across multiple social media platforms with the purpose of harassing, terrorizing, humiliating, and threatening Telfer, Ruth, their children, the victim, and the victim's mother. 20-minute timestamp, Ron Corbin, quote, I was supposed to be there today, but I had a slew of appointments and I couldn't make it. Sam, if I saw you, I would have sat right next to you. I'd have sat right next to you, and we would have been bumping shoulders. And everywhere you moved, I would have kept going until they made us leave. I went looking for you, Sam. I went looking for you. I think I found you. I went to the store. I went downtown. I think I found you. And it's of my opinion that you knew I had spotted you and you kicked it because I know the way you come into town and what way you go out of town. You take the way past my house to reach the interstate. 21 minutes, 16 seconds, Clara Frank, quote, and Sam, if you think I or anybody is going to take the heat off you guys for the Jesse story, you're wrong. You're wrong. 21 minutes, 25 seconds, Ron Corbin, quote, let me remind you too, you fat dumpy cunt, that you also privately have fascinations about inappropriate relationships between middle-aged women and minors. Clara Frank, that's right. Ron Corbin, you come here to my city, someone who has pedophilic ideologies and fantasies about my son, and you're going to come to my city? No. Clara Frank, right? Ron Corbin, no. Next time you give me a heads up when you're on your way, okay? We will have the welcoming committee roll out for you. Clara Frank, that's right. We'll roll out the welcome wagon. Absolutely. Ron Corbin, that's right. You can meet all my friends. You're not going to get hurt. I just want to talk. All my friends talk to find out about why you're here in town having fantasies about minor sex and stalking people. That's really all my buddies will say. Clara Frank, yep. Ronald Corbin, quote, don't worry. They are vets and Satanists with tattoos and bikers and shit like that. 2237 Ron Corbin, quote, but I did look for you. And I think I found you in a shitty car. So 2333 Ron Corbin, quote, I've been waiting to see you for years. I mean, I've been waiting. 27 minutes, Clara Frank, quote, all of the adults in this house are fully armed, fully armed. So I would mind the way you go. 2758 Ron Corbin, it's escalated. I went from no guns to I have 2 with me right now. 2825 Ron Corbin, I need guns. I've got a 30-round clip. 100-round drum, and I'm not fucking around. I'm done with everybody's horse shit. Clara Frank, yep. Ron Corbin, having sexual fantasies about my kid, then coming here is like, I'm a father, and it makes me look at you like you're a fucking pedophile coming here. Clara Frank, right? Ron Corbin, what kind of pedophilic adjacent stalking horse shit is that? Clara Frank, right? No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you will never live it down. I don't give a shit how many explanations you come up with. I don't care how many twisted, tortured excuses you give for why you said that. You will never live it down. Everyone heard you loud and clear, and they know what you're doing. Good luck with that. It's not going to work out well for you. I promise that, end quote. 29 minutes, 40 seconds, Ron Corbin. I get it. She's a fan, but this fucking pedophilic fantasy shit and then coming here, that's what bothers me as a father. Clara Frank. Yeah. Ron Corbin, so yeah, I went out looking for you because I wanted to make sure you fucking got out of town. I wanted to make sure your fucking nasty, goddamn degenerate ass was the fuck away from us. It would have been cool to have a personal conversation, me looking down at you, all all 5'1" of you? Clara Frank, yep. Ron Corbin, I would love to have a conversation. 34 minutes, Ron Corbin. You can't have a gun in the courtroom, but you can have one in your car. 40 minutes, 18 seconds, Ron Corbin. I mean, I know what I'm going to do. I already know what the fuck I'm going to do. I got dangerous people stalking me, and I've got full Second Amendment carry and castle doctrine and all that. I'm not worried about that. And stand your ground. So if it's at Walmart or something, this shit ain't funny. 45, Ron Corbin. I ain't hunting you today, but I did go looking for you. You're in my town maliciously. This is my town. I live here. I've lived here my entire life. Everybody knows me, okay? So, just give me notice next time so I can get the guys together and we can all have lunch. 47 minutes, 40 seconds, Ron Corbin. She wants a middle-aged woman to have sex with a minor. I know that. End quote. 47:25. Ron Corbin, nah, I got my EPO right here. I don't need a piece of paper because a piece of paper isn't going to keep someone away from you. I have a proven method right here that works if someone fucks around and finds out. Every lawsuit against me has been dropped. If it comes to that point, then a piece of paper would not be necessary. 57:20, Ron Corbin. It is what it is, and a lot of you know who live in states like mine, you know how to deal with it. I just know how to deal with it. 59:35, Ron Corbin. I will continue to talk about mental health. I went to the psychiatrist today and got my meds back to where they're supposed to be, and I got a new med. This med makes me shake because have you ever taken Lamictal? It's a mood stabilizer. They cut it in half on accident. Don't fuck around with your meds. Take your meds. On August 7th, 2024, Ron Corbin appeared on social media website Rumble, URL provided. Timestamp 15:58, Corbin brandishes a revolver, showing a handful of, quote, hollow point bullets, then proceeds to load the gun with the bullets while addressing Telfer having been in Connorsville 5 days prior. 1907, Ron Corbin, quote, when I've got people driving 5-hour round trips to stalk my family, I would say that is grounds to be armed. 43 minutes, Ron Corbin, Sam is a danger. Sam is a danger. That's why I revoked her Connorsville privileges. You're not welcome here anymore. I've talked to a lot of people, told them your name, told them what you've been doing. The government doesn't like me here. That's who doesn't like me. The government and people affiliated with it because I call the bullshit out. That's it. The right people like me, okay? That's not a threat. That's just saying your Connorsville privileges are revoked. There's no reason for you to be here. On August 9th, 2024, Ron Corbin appeared on social media website Rumble, URL provided. Timestamp 1 hour, 42 minutes, 45 seconds, Ron Corbin, quote, you're done. You're done. Go deal with the kids' trauma. Shit gets around. Kids go on YouTube. It would be a shame if somebody like, I don't know, at like their high school got a hold of your content. 1 hour, 43 minutes, 52 seconds, Ron Corbin, quote, now that I know which way you go out of town, if I hear you're in town again, I'll know where to tell the police to pull you over. You probably got weed in the car because, allegedly you don't have weed shipped to you and you can just drive to Michigan to get it. Teddy Pig, thank you so much for the super chat. Let the games begin. I go for jail time. Teddy Pig, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate your support of my channel. Excuse me. 1 hour, 47 minutes, 35 seconds, Ron Corbin. I'm also going to submit this to CPS to show them who is stalking and harassing me. And I'm going to give them the clips of you saying you and Yaba talk about minor kids privately. What? Are you telling me that on the August 9th, 2024 Rumble video on Ron Corbin's Rumble channel titled I Have Some Shit to Say, at the 1 hour, 47 minute, 35 second mark, Ron Corbin says, I am also going to submit this to CPS to show them who is stalking and harassing me. And I'm going to give them the clips of you saying you and Yaba talk about minor kids privately. Pinky Pink, thank you so much for the super chat, darling. I appreciate you supporting my channel, period. Fuck you, Ron. You and deep, deep, deep shit. I support you and Yama. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. 1 hour, 55 minutes, 41 seconds. Ron Corbett quote, what happens when Yaba loses her income? Is that why you're moving out of the McMansion? On August 22nd, 2024, Floyd County Department of Child Services contacted Ruth and Telfer following a false report being called into DCS alleging child abuse, child sex abuse, and domestic violence. At this time, the DCS investigation remains open. All documents will be attached to this case report. I request and recommend the county prosecutor's office review this case for any and all criminal charges. Signed, reporting officer, reviewed by commanding officer. That's wild. That's fucking wild, ain't it, guys? I thought so. Yeah. I found it wild as well.
No, fuck you. If you are going to accuse somebody of something serious, then you goddamn well better have proof.
You goddamn well better have proof, you know? Well, anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for being here. And we'll see how this turns out, won't we? All right. Have a great day.